What is up, BookTube? It is Monty, and today I am once again filming way too late. Please ignore the light switch in the corner. It bothers me that it is in the frame. We're just going to ignore it. We're going to move past it. We're going to move past it. But we are here today to do the mid-year freakout tag. I bitch only read 33 books. Now, my unofficial goal is still 102. So will that happen? Probably not. But it's there. That's what we're working towards. So, like, what the goal is not part of the questions. But I'm just letting y'all know that we are not even close, but it's okay. We're gonna hunker down. We're gonna do some reading for the next couple of months. But for now, let's talk about the best, the worst, the highs, the lows. I think there are like a couple different versions of the questions here. I'm just gonna answer the same ones that I did last year because I'm too lazy to see what those different questions might be. And so if you're watching this and you're like, Monty, those are the questions from like 39 years ago, that's why. So with all of those things out of the way, let's get started. First question is, what is the best book that I have read this year? And I have to cheat. And I have to go with, this book is not out. Y'all can't read it. Y'all can't read it yet. But when you can read it, it is going to be in your best of the year list, because if it is not, I will have to question you. And that is Jade Legacy by the one and only Fonda Lee. This is the perfect conclusion. Let me say this again. Perfect conclusion to the Greenbone saga. I am so excited for y'all to see my reading vlog of this, because I did film one. It is a thing that happened. It is not just that 12-minute gush fest. There is a full reading vlog. Patrons have already seen it because I was impatient and they were impatient. So some people know my thoughts. You too can know my thoughts if you need to know that badly, but it will be released closer to the book when, you know, I won't be ruining shit for you. But the way that Fonda Lee ended the series really was a masterclass in trilogies. It was a masterclass in just concluding. I was on the edge of my seat from start to finish. She did things in that book that I hate. And yet when she did them, at the end of it, 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. No one is ever going to compete with the Greenbone saga. It's just on another level. The next question of this is, what is the best sequel that I have read? And you can see how that's cheating, because the first book was also a sequel, but I was looking through the handful of things that I had given 5 stars this year. A lot of them were sequels, a lot of them are rereads, so I'm trying to keep away from the rereads popping into this, and so that's why Jade Legacy was number 1. But for the best sequel, I had to go with Anna K. Away by Jenny Lee, because this book is like, it was everything that I liked about Anna K, and yet different, and just, I'm excited. I love this one. So I personally was not disappointed with how this ends. We are reading Anna K for the Choices book club. I want to say September. No, not September. Is it? We're reading it. There's an announcement video. There's a community tab post. We're reading the first book in the duology, and we'll be probably reading this next year. And I will look forward to reading it again, because it was just that good. Next is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and for that I'm gonna go with Heartbreakers and Fakers by Cameron Lund. I don't remember the exact premise of this. I think it's set during like summer vacation, and it's like high school to college, like that vacation, you know, gap thing, and there's like a recent breakup and like maybe a fake relationship. There's a 4th of July party. Like, it just, her debut novel that came out last year, it's on my shelf. What is it? The Best Laid Plans. I thought that was actually a really cute story. I didn't like some of the elements of it, but I did think overall that it was cute. I enjoyed it, and so I wanted to see the follow-up. The next question is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And because I already read Jade Legacy, that got taken off of the board, and so I had to scroll through my Goodreads, I had to scroll through my NetGalley, and I'm gonna go with If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez, right? I'm pretty sure, I should have double checked. Sophie Gonzalez and Cale Dietrich. This is a male like boy band secret romance situation, and I'm just really excited for it. really excited for it. I'm excited for it. Y'all know that earlier this year I did a whole like banned books reading vlog situation because the music industry and books is just something that I personally have discovered that I fuck with. And so it has that element. It has a little cute, wholesome romance element. So I think this is going to be a solid 4-star read, and I'm very much looking forward to it. The next question is my biggest disappointment of 2021. And I'm going to go with a book that I haven't talked too much about, so I think that, like, people might be surprised. But I'm going to go with A Well-Behaved Woman by Therese Ann Fowler. This was a Patreon, like, book that I read, and I did a little reading vlog for it. It's a fictionalized account of the Vanderbilt, starting with Alva Vanderbilt and how, like, she married into the Vanderbilt family and how they squandered everything. And, like, it had all of the pieces for me to like it. It had the things I love in female characters that are my protagonists, and like wealthy and rich, but it just kind of fell flat. I was also just like, the Vanderbilts were a bunch of idiots, so didn't even get like the fun mess because they were all stupid, and it's real sad. Feel sorry for them. Pour one out for Anderson Cooper the next time you're taking shots. Next is The Biggest Surprise, and for this I'm gonna go with Vagabonds because I didn't think I was gonna like this. I just kind of bought it because I liked the typography. I was sort of invested in the sci-fi elements, but this was just like really good. It's cerebral. It's not like space opera-y at all. It's like, I think it's just it's clearly sci-fi-y, but like it reads like literary fiction almost, but we are in space. There is like space things happening. But it was just really interesting. Really liked it. 10 out of 10 recommend it. And yeah, so get this from the libraries, guys. I really enjoyed that one. Next is a new favorite author, debut or new to you, and I'm gonna go with Bethany C. Morrow because I really fuck with Bethany C. Morrow. I read A Song Below Water, I want to say in February. I think I read that this year. I had to read it. I read it when I was in Kansas. And then I most recently, on my way back from the wilderness, I listened to A Chorus Rises. 10 out of 10 on both books. Whatever people did not like about them, I am still failing to understand because I think that they are very solidly fantasy books. They are very solidly well-written books, and they both layer in a discussion of contemporary topics that I think should be addressed in urban fantasies and contemporary fantasies that is often glossed over. And I think that it's weird to not like it because it doesn't gloss over it. Like, if you wanted to read contemporary fantasies where, you know, racial politics and identity and how that impacts the fantasy world, you could read literally just about any other contemporary fantasy because every other contemporary fantasy acts as though race would no longer exist once we started having people who had fantastic abilities. And so for me, I really thought that Bethany C. Morrow did a really amazing job of weaving in those elements into the contemporary fantasy. I am very much looking forward. I guess I could have also talked about this earlier, but she has a race-bent Little Women retelling coming out. I think it's called So Many Beginnings. I have to double check. I'm definitely looking forward to reading that. I did get the arc, so Bethany C. Morrow and I, we have one more book in us before the year is over. Next is Your Newest Fictional Crush, and this one also feels kind of like a cheat because this is a love interest and like not a main character, but Patrick from Yoke, this man, that's the answer. Next is a new favorite character, and for this one I had to go with the one and only Cassidy Holmes from The Unraveling of Cassidy Holmes. This was a book I read for that banned book that the banned book reading vlog I talked about just like 5 seconds ago. She is our main character. She's dead at the beginning of the book, and as the book goes on, we kind of learn about her life and the events that led up to her death, and it was just great. 10 out of 10 love Cassidy Holmes. I mean, it is very sad that, you know, she's dead at the beginning of the book, but, you know, sometimes good characters have to die. Like, sometimes they have to die, and there's nothing I can do about that. The next question is, it gets back to my notes, a book that made me cry. And I don't cry when I read, like I'm not an emotional reader like that, so I kind of went with one that almost got me there, and that was Yoke by, again, Miss Mary H.K. Choi, because Miss Mary just, her books always slap. I know that some people really do not fuck with Mary H.K. Choi, but I do, and I'm very much excited to be rereading this later on in the year. I think this might actually be the September pick for choices, but we'll be reading this. We'll have read all of Mary's books this year, and that makes me happy to have been able to push that on the people. The next is a book that made me happy, and for this one I went with The Final Revival of Opal and Nev. But The Final Revival of Opal and Nev was, again, a book that I read for that reading vlog, and I really enjoyed it, and I haven't seen anybody talking about, I mean, I haven't done like a lot of research. Plenty of people could be talking about this book, but I don't see it like plastered everywhere the way I see some other books, and I think that The Final Rival definitely deserves to be plastered everywhere, especially with how the book, like the twist in that book, like expertly done. Expertly done. The way that people talk about Miss Taylor Jenkins, like they need to be talking about Miss Donnie, because Final Revival is definitely better than any of the Jenkins Reid books. Next is the most beautiful book that I've bought this year, or that I've received, and for this I had to go with 3. So 2 of these I purchased, and one of them was a gift. So the 2 that I purchased were Pachinko, the Book of the Month edition, I got it at my used bookstore, and Ace of Spades, because both of these I think are just, look at this. Look at this. I mean, you've seen this has been everywhere, and I feel like everyone has this copy of Pachinko because it's Book of the Month. But then the one that I was gifted was All American Muslim Girl, and I just like I don't know, it's the typography for me. I think it works. Does something for my spirit. Makes me a very happy person. That's it. That's the tag. Those are the questions that I have written down. If there are other questions, well, you're not getting them answered here. Let's leave this emoji, whatever I decide to put up right here, down there, and I'll see you guys again soon with another video. But until then, and until next time.